Welcome Exiles to Bait or No Bait, the game show where we review all the current league starters for 325 and give you a recommendation whether or not they are trying to trick you into a life of pain or they're going to lead you to glory. Now, before we get into the show, I have to let you all know there's been a tragedy that has occurred, similar to a death in the family. It's about Karn. He played one league with -1 socket, and it seems like he's switching his content from Melee Giga Chad into Currency Guru. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to regretfully say this is a rip to Karn's legacy out of 10. Where you will be missed, brother. Hopefully, the Currency Guru strategy pays out, but I can't see it being worth it. Now, moving on, because you already know it's gonna happen, we're just gonna go out and say it. We are not biased, but we need to give you a metric to scale the other builds on. This represents perfection. This is the best of the best you can ever do. Do not doubt this. Pox's Righteous Fire is a perfect 10 out of 10. So keep this in mind. This is what we're looking for, people. We're looking for greatness, and Pox has done it. Now, that is the metric we are gauging all the other builds on, so keep that in mind going forward. Up first, we have the Warcry Chieftain by Steel Mage. Now, you might be thinking, man, those numbers look good. And without really thinking it through, you might choose to play this character, in which case I can say, comfortably, without a shadow of my doubt, you are being baited. And let me explain why. You're going to break your hand out of 10, my friend. Your hand will not survive this patch because you are going to click 3 war cries every 7 seconds. Do not do this, my friend. You will break your hand. But the good news is, that is a one-way ticket to playing Righteous Fire because there's not going to be another build you can play afterwards. So actually, we're going to upgrade this to a half bait score due to the fact that it will lead you to the holy land of Righteous Fire because, quite simply, you will be inept and unable to play any other skill afterwards. Now, next up, we have Captain Lance's Berserker Slam character. I have to tell you, we had a observer in the field go out and analyze his POB and see what he's got cooking, and I have to say, this man has no idea how path building works. He did not know how to configure anything. He didn't know how to create gear. Quite frankly, it's like the old man that can't learn new technology. We're gonna have to label this as an easy bait, no doubt in our minds. This is a go home old man situation. He's lost. He simply just needs to retire. Now, next up on our list, we have Fubgun, the MF legend. Rest in peace, MF, by the way. He seems to think that Lightning Strike on the Warden or the Slayer is gonna be the fastest starter. And we have to say, does he really know what he's talking about? Have we ever seen him play anything other than bows? This, of course, leads us to the line of thinking that, Lightning Strike, it's kind of a bow skill a little bit because it shoots lightning, but it's not really a bow skill. So we're gonna put this in the half bait category because yes, it's like kind of a projectile and maybe he'll figure it out, but realistically, this is just a bow player who got lost. Let's be honest with ourselves. Now, aside from Fubgun, somebody who isn't lost and who knows what he's about, Gazzy, my man, look at that thumbnail. Just on the thumbnail, I have to say, if somebody knows how to edit a thumbnail that looks this good, you can't have a bad build. There's no way. This is a not bait situation just due to the best thumbnail I saw out of all the ones we looked at. It's just not even close. What's that? Oh, I can't just give him a good score because of the thumbnail? Oh, it's a minion build? Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. We had a difficulty here. This is actually going to have to go under minion bait. Unfortunately, we did not realize this is a minion build. We got too distracted by the aesthetics. And if you've ever played a minion build, you know it's lame, and you know you should be playing something else. Sorry to say, you're gonna have to move on from this one. Now, next up, we have a fan favorite, Frostblades of Catabasis. And I have to tell you right here, right now, think about it. Catabasis, a build by a cat, there is no way he could mess up with such a specialized skill to his home field advantage archetype. This is gonna have to go in the not bait category, and this is a classic cat out of 10, very well created, and there's no way a cat could ever lead you astray on a cat-based skill. Just fantastic, people. Speaking of experts in the field, we have Alkaiser here, looking dominant, looking thick, melee, meta. You can see his dog is chewing on the pathetic red shirt duelist, and you know This is the facts. We saw earlier that Karn played one league with -1 socket and he quit Melee altogether to be a currency guru. This, of course, is a not bait. The debate has been settled. It is Jug better than Slayer out of 10, confirmed. Oh, it's finally nice to see that we know the true answer between Jug and Slayer. A thing of beauty to finally see this debate concluded. Now, next up, we have another build rating specialist. As you can see by the gold star system, completely unflawed in every way. We have Lily. Now, we questioned Lily about what she would league start, and of course, she gave us the answer DD, which led us to be labeling her as DD bait. But upon further inspection, if you analyze what is in front of your very eyes, you have to recognize that she's 100% lying. There is clearly a look of affection and love towards the Archmage Hyro here, and we can only distinguish this because of recent events when Dan showed the Archmage Hyro to be goated. The man himself, the build maker we all get our builds from, colon my build in the chat if you're looking at this right now, because this guy is the guy, and it is not bait. Never once has Dan baited anyone. He is just the GOAT. Pay respects to the man. Moving on, we have to examine two Glad Bleed builds from both Zizaran and Garatha. At first take, you might be, new change ascendancy, looks fancy, could be fun. Usually this is a scenario where a lot of us end up baited and broken, but luckily we had the foresight to ask for an expert review on this style of build, and we called in Kriparian. He made us a custom educating Zizaran video, which we took to heart, and unfortunately we can't label this as bait because he gave it overwhelmingly positive reviews that Glad is going to be a good 90 out of 100 due to its crazy ability to get high block numbers with only 5 passive points. Just insane, people. Glad will not lead you astray. Speaking of things that would lead you astray, however, we have Spicy Sushi. We asked him point blank, what are you starting? And his answer, no cap on a stack, was Icicle Mines Deadeye. Now, it was at that moment we knew something ain't right here. This guy would never start Icicle Mines Deadeye. We went around asking other people in the chat, and every single time we got the same answer. DD bait. Do not follow Sushi. He's just gonna reroll into DD. Even though it got nerfed, he don't care. He has no morals. Look aside, people, look aside. Now, although Sushi may be a baiter, let's look at somebody who just always wins, who just never misses. Ben himself. He is starting DD. Wait, no, not DD. That's a Berserker. And he's doing slams? Somebody call the police, because we have an expert level review from one of our analysts, Lily, who says, and I quote, Berserker bad. So we're gonna have to go ahead and label this as bait. Ben is clearly washed up, just like Lance, and he should go join Lance's retirement home because he has no idea what he's talking about. This build will be trash. Do not copy it. A legend has failed us today. Speaking of legendary players, Connor, the man who just keeps having 3 commas and dealing billions of damage each league, has once again decided he was going to predict the best build of next league, and he says it's going to be Molten Strike of the Zenith. Now, you'll know last league he predicted Maniforged Arrows was going to be the strongest Necropolis league, and Steve delved to 65,000 depth. He hit delve cap in a singular league with that character. It's hard to say that that wasn't the best build, so he might actually know what he's talking about. Is what we would say if this video was for people with billions of chaos, which we all know is not true. The normal average PoE player only has 30 minutes every week to play, and therefore we have to label this as bait, because there is no way, no how anyone can put this character together reasonably with the amount of playtime the regular player like ourselves has to play this game. That being said, however, let's be honest, guys. If you're playing just one build a league, maybe even with your 30 minutes a week playtime, you could eventually set this character up and put it under the not bait category as a very satisfying pathway road to 1 billion damage and joining the 3 commas out of 10 club. Purely unethical. That number does not make sense in PoE. Somebody needs to stop this man. All right, now a little side note, not not Captain Lance memeing about this video, having fun, but just regular Captain Lance. I gotta be honest with you guys. I think Connor might straight up be the best build maker currently. He has made ridiculous builds every single league, the past 3 leagues, and they have been just insane. Reverse, snapshot, freaking battery staff, freaking 15 billion damage. Are you kidding me? Mana Forge arrows. We all know how that went. This character, the Zenith character, is just, it's just pretty insane. I don't quite understand how to explain this in a way that makes sense, but you see a good build in PoE where you're like, wow, that's really good. This character generally has like 10 times, 100 times the damage, and then 10 times the defense of those characters. It's like a scaling thing. Like, until you actually physically see it, where you go take whatever character you think is good, and then put it on the scale of trying to do delve, like 6,000 delve, where every monster has HP cap. It's just not fair. So anyways, a side note over, don't tell Connor I said that. Moving on. Looking at Locust Mines by Jung Roan the Snitch. I have to say, this build looks good. 16 mil DPS, good max hits, good avoidance, trickster recovery. It's hard to doubt it. It's hard to doubt it. But if you know anything, we do our research, and we actually went and counted. He's made 99 builds before this, and out of 99, 99 of them have been bait. So if you think we're going to fall for number 100 and think it's not bait, fool me once, fool me 99 times, that's on me. We get fooled 100th time? No, thank you. But of course, we have to give Jung Roan an award of the official title, the Masturbator. He's better at it than anyone else. I've never seen a more competent baiter than Jung Roan himself. Hats off to you, good sir. We almost fell for it this time. Moving on to a positive note for the end of the show, we have what I would like to call a redemption arc. If you notice this is Palstron actually. And if you notice something else, there aren't totems here. He has finally done it. He's broken his addiction. We have to celebrate this, guys. This is a serious accomplishment. Unfortunately, it's still bait because he is not going to have very fast attacks per second. He's not going to be generating that many shocks. He's very rarely going to proc his Unbound Fury. The build's not really going to work, but let's not discourage him because he is a recovering addict from totem addiction, and we have to give him a solid not totems out of 10. Thank you, Palstron, for finally seeing the light. Hopefully, this will help others recover from their totem addiction. Thank you for that. And finally, to conclude the show, there were just a lot of videos that I wanted to make jokes about or include in the video, but I was just taking way too long to complete this video and didn't have time or couldn't come up with a good joke to make. I think a lot of the jokes I made in this video probably weren't really that good. So anyways, that's going to include MBX, Ventura, Wooly, Locahol. Now, in conclusion, I left out a lot of people I wanted to make little clips for, but I quite frankly was running out of time on this video, and I'm sorry to the creators who I wanted to include, like MBX, like Ventura, like Wooly, like Locahol, like Fuzzy Duxie, like Lighty, like Mathel, like Tuna, and there's a lot of others. There's a ton of great build makers in PoE, and I wanted to highlight a lot of them, but quite frankly, this video just takes way too long for me to make. So hopefully you guys can understand. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. I wasn't really planning to do a bait or no bait, but I decided to do it anyways just because it sounded like something fun to do, and I ran out of time, of course. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Take care and have a good one.